my creative friends, and welcome to another episode of The Daily Prompt. In this episode, I really want to talk about the difference between talk and action. I really want to talk about how you can identify whether or not you have what it takes to go all the way to your ultimate destination, to your dream, your goal, your vision, whatever that big picture thing is. I'm a big believer that having a dream is fantastic. It's wonderful. We can really enjoy swimming around in the feel-good nature of the dream or that sort of goal that we really don't actually care about, but that's fun to think about, that's fun to fantasize about. The problem that I find is that most people think of screenwriting in that way. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so I've been around the film industry since I was a little kid. I got into acting when I was 12. So my whole perception of the industry itself is that this isn't a fantasy thing. This isn't a dream thing. This is a really cool job you can actually have. To me, it was never a matter of dreaming about it. Yeah, of course, it started as the dreams of fame and the dreams of making movies or whatever those dreams are or were at the time. But because I was always close to it, because it was always around me, it was never a fantasy scenario. It was something that you simply have to figure out how to go about doing and actually do it. Well, what I've found over the years is the further away you get from Hollywood, the less people think it's actually real. The more people think it's just a dream. It's just a fantasy. It's not something that you could ever actually make happen. And I find that very frustrating because when I was in Australia, when I sort of first got to Australia and talked to people about movies and movie making and screenwriting and all this kind of stuff, acting and everything, almost no one took it truly seriously. Almost no one thought of it as this goal, this thing to really do with your life. And it was very frustrating to me. It was very challenging to me because it's all I ever wanted to do. So I think if you already go into it thinking of it as a dream or thinking of it as something that's not really possible, that's not really doable, then I think ultimately you're setting yourself on negative footing. You're making it more or less impossible to actually follow through and actually make it real. You have to see it as something that's possible and plausible. And it is something that's possible and plausible. All you have to do is create the story, write that story, something that would engage an audience, and then go out and rent cameras and hire actors and get lights and go shoot it and then edit the pieces together to make an effective final film. I mean, that's ultimately really what we're talking about for all film, all television. If you're thinking about writing a novel, you're thinking about writing screenplays, you're thinking about writing television, all of this stuff is intrinsically doable, but you have to treat it as doable. Now, recently I came across a really, really good example of the difference between treating something as a dream, saying that you want something, versus actually putting into action, actually following through with it, actually making it real for yourself. So for the past few years, I have had I have offered a 10-day free start of my screenplay development system, FAST Screenplay, wherein anyone could just sign up, no credit card, nothing at all, and get up to the first 10 steps of the process, the system. And the way my system is designed on purpose is that you don't get step 2 until you mark step 1 as finished. You don't get step 3 until you mark step 2 as finished. And in that way, it really trains people to take action every single day, not just to talk about it, not just to think about it, not just to go hunt for the information you're on the lookout for and binge that information and go, okay, now I feel better because my head is full of information, but to actually do the actions, actually to take those steps, actually to move forward consistently every single day. And really by having a whole setup phase where we set you up for the process itself, we really train your brain, your creativity, your imagination to show up on call, to tap into all the breadth and vast and beauty and wisdom that is you and is your mind and is your experience and is your imagination. And we turn it into something that actually takes it from being a dream and makes it real, makes it doable. And so I would offer the first 10 steps, literally the first half of that first phase, for free to anyone who wants to do it. I really wanted to show people how the system works, to show you that each step builds on what you've done before. Even if you're a long-time professional, the steps are going to build on all that stuff you've previously known. But the problem is that the vast majority of people are dreamers. They're talkers. They don't follow through with it. And so after several years of offering this, I looked at the statistics and I realized that the vast majority of people just don't do this. And so the effect that it has is, if you go through those formative, foundational, vastly important initial steps, the steps upon which everything else is built, if you go through those in evaluation mode, if you go through those in suspicion mode, in judgmental mode, in detached mode, then you don't actually develop that rhythm. You don't actually develop that habit. You don't actually develop those skills. And so I decided about 2 weeks ago to discontinue the FAST Screenplay 10-day free start after a very long time of offering this, of having lots of people going through this process and going, this is fantastic, and then joining us in the full system and being a little bit afraid of, well, if you're not going to be able to sample that as you go through it, is anyone ever going to join us again? That's my fear. But at the end of the day, my goal is to get you where you're trying to go. Not to give you what you want or need necessarily, what you think you need. I want to give you what you actually need. If you think you need just to know how to write a screenplay, that's not what I'm here to give you. I'm here to show you how to write a screenplay a producer can use. That's what you really need. That's writing a screenplay that nobody can use. Might feel good, but it's not. It's going to still treat everything as a dream. It's not going to treat it as the reality of getting us where we're trying to go. So when I decided to close the 10-day free start, I announced it on this channel. You can watch a video a few episodes back. So that 3 days later, it was going to be closed forever. So if you wanted to join us, now's the time. And so we ended up getting 17 people who joined the 10-day free start at that point. So about 10 days afterwards, a couple of days ago, I decided to go through and look at what those writers did and see whether or not I'm making the right decision here. And let me share with you the statistics themselves. First of all, out of those people that joined, only 2 of the writers completed all 10 steps. Now, of those 2, 1 said this is fantastic and decided to join us and keep going through the process. The other one did not. Now, I don't have any qualms with someone who tries something and goes, either this is not for me, or I don't have the funds right now, or for whatever reason, I'm not interested. Fine, fair enough. That person did not give me any feedback, so I don't know why they decided not to join us. That's okay. One writer did 6 of the 10 steps. So they were pushing through, they were learning how it was working, they were getting a bit more, but maybe they ran out of time, maybe life got in the way, I'm not sure. Again, I've reached out for feedback. I don't have any feedback as yet, so I don't know why that person stopped, but for whatever reason, they only got halfway through the process. 2 writers only did 1 step, the very first step. They did nothing more than the first step. Now, for context, the amount of content in the first 10 days of FAST Screenplay alone is more than some screenwriting courses, short courses, teach in their entirety. Courses that are being charged $79, $149, this kind of thing. At the end of the day, those first 10 steps get you halfway to what I call a fast draft. They get you to capturing that idea in your head and getting it onto the page. The first 20 steps get you that first fast draft, give you this extraordinary tool that you can capture your ideas and turn them into. So my point is, it's giving these people a ton of possible value for free. And they did 1 step, the first step, and that was it. They never moved any further past that. Now here's the kicker. 12 writers which is 70% of the people who signed up for that 10-day free start, did absolutely nothing. They did not even complete the first step. Did they even read the first step? Did they even follow through? Why would you sign up for something just to get free content that you're not going to follow through on? Well, I'll tell you why. It's either because you think that information is the way to get where you're trying to go, that you're missing some little detail. You're not missing some little detail. The thing that's missing is the action, the daily, ongoing action. Or they just want free stuff because they think they're going to be able to get it all. And you're not. No matter how many videos you watch, no matter how many books you read, no matter how many seminars you attend, no matter how many webinars you watch, no matter how much feedback you get, no matter how much information you suck in, that's not going to get you where you're trying to go. What's going to get you where you're trying to go is to take consistent, ongoing daily action. Think about these statistics. Literally 82% of the people that knew that this was your last chance to do this did either the first step only or not even that much. There's about 10 to 12 hours worth of video content throughout these 10 steps. There are 10 detailed exercises that build on top of one another. It's designed in such a way to ensure that we're taking whatever you already know and infusing it into this process. I look at this and I think, frustrating as this is pretty much in line with my statistics over the entire length of offering the 10-day free start. So I believe that I was right to discontinue the 10-day free start. Now, I will say that since then, we have had one person join us on a subscription and one person join us on an installments plan for lifetime access for the system. So these are people who did not do the 10-day free start. And those two writers, I've been looking at their accounts, and they've taken action every single day. Now, is it because they've got some skin in the game and they want to make sure that they're getting the most out of their investment? Possibly so. I do believe that that's actually a factor. But I think it's also because you jump in with both feet and say, I want to do this, I'm going to do this. If you look at it as an evaluation, as an assessment, is this something that I should bother with? You're not going to connect with the content. You're not going to, if you look at your goal, your dream, you want to be a screenwriter, you want to be a filmmaker, you want to make movies or television, you want to do this big grand thing. If you look at it as something like, well, should I do this? Should I follow through with this? Can this really work for me? Is this really going to happen? The answer is no. It's not going to happen. You have to take action. You have to take consistent, ongoing daily action to get wherever it is you're trying to go. That's why I built the system I built, so that in order to get the content, you have to develop those skills, those habits of taking that consistent ongoing action, of moving forward through a process. You don't know where it's going to take you. You don't know what the outcome is, but you're going to do it anyway because you believe in the goal that you're trying to get to. We take that and we morph that into a confidence in your own creative voice, in your own creative self, because as you do the steps, you get the experience of seeing the results, and that gives you continued confidence to keep going until you get literally all the way through the process. Now, I don't know. Maybe there are extenuating circumstances. I know a couple of the writers who did this 10-day free start have been very vocal in their support of what I've done. I don't know if something got in the way. I'm not blaming anyone for anything. What I'm suggesting is that the big picture here is that the only way to get to where you're trying to go is to take action. And if life gets in your way, you're still going to have to find a way to take action. If you don't have enough time to do this thing, you're still going to have to find a way to carve out some time. Otherwise, it will always be a dream. If you don't have enough money, well, you're going to have to find some way to get there, because Otherwise, it's always going to be a dream. I charge cost. We don't make any profit off of what I do simply because I want to try to help writers get where they're trying to go. If you can't cover the cost of your own journey through the process, I understand that, and I'm not disparaging those who legitimately can't, but we try to make it as affordable to anyone as we can. So it's important to understand that where you're trying to go is going to require an investment of some sort, whether it's an investment of money or an investment of time or both. And at the end of the day, whether it's with me or whether it's somewhere else out there in the world, you have to be willing to invest in yourself in order to get to the goal you're trying to reach. If you don't, it's a dream. And if it stays as a dream and you want it to be a dream, keep it as a dream. There's nothing wrong with dreaming and feeling and enjoying the fantasy world that you've created for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. I legitimately believe that can be a fantastic motivator and feel-good thing in all aspects of your life. But when you're trying to actually achieve a goal, as I am, of building an independent film studio, of making lots and lots of films and needing writers to have these skills, this is a real thing. This is a reality, and it's very doable. It's very possible for literally anyone watching this video or anyone who never sees this video or watches me do anything at all. At the end of the day, dreams are one thing. Talk is another thing. Today's daily prompt is try to figure out what it is that your dream is. Where does yours fit? Are you talking about it? Are you keeping the fantasy alive? Or are you actually taking action to get where you're trying to go? If you're actually taking action, then follow through. Do something, not just today, but every single day. If you want life to be a little bit easier for yourself, join me in FAST Screenplay. We've got a system specifically designed to get you over those procrastination humps, to get you through the entire process, all the way literally to the deal. So join me or watch the webinar that we've put together, or follow us on our social media stuff. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you click the bell to get notified when new videos like this, sometimes tough love videos, come along. But most importantly, whatever you do, take action, follow through. You can do this. It does not have to stay as a dream. You really can make this real. I'd like to prove it to you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.